Telling the wrong people your secrets will cost you everything. Not every friend or acquaintance needs access or insight into the inner workings of your life and your relationships. Some people are great for just light conversation, a trip to the movies, some light banter. That's it. They do not need to know or have access to your deepest desires or your secrets if you have any. The mistake that most of us make is that we believe that everyone belongs in our inner circle.
Oh, I have learned that one the hard way. I actually want to share some of my own personal experience with that. And I also want to share that they've actually done research on this that backs this up. Stop telling people your secrets. But first, go watch that video. It's so good. I love her content. She shares really great stories. As somebody who is chronic codependent, people pleaser, approval seeker, and someone who has a lot of boundary issues, I just thought like that I owe everyone an answer to everything. This was really hard for me to learn. And also, you know, I have found, I mean, even on this app, when I share stories about myself and am vulnerable like that, it opens other people up to sharing their stories. And it is how you connect, right? Like this. However, I have also had to learn as somebody who tells stories for a living. I've been a storyteller for a while and a writer, and I write a lot about my life, that I have to respect my own privacy sometimes. Telling everyone everything about everything happening all the time, even when I'm in the middle of a story, is not only like a terrible way to tell stories, because you're never supposed to tell a story when you're in the middle of a story, right? There's no hope in that. People are just gonna be worried about you. I'm not saying don't tell people what's happening, but I'm just saying as a storyteller and a writer, you have a much better story to tell when you have perspective and insight and hope, rather than just being like, I hate that, right? But also, as somebody who, you know, my marriage is public record, you know, like I open up our relationship to a lot of things. I open up my husband's family, which is now my family, to a lot of things. I open up my own blood relatives to a lot of things. Like, you know, you can keep men anonymous that I've dated who've screwed me over, but I can't keep my mom, my dad, my sister, and all my family members anonymous. So I am very selective about what I share to protect myself and to protect my family. And yet I also still share way too much with y'all. And part of it is because that's important to me. But when it comes to personal life and what I'm really going through right now, there is a select few people that I tell everything to. My husband, my best friend Liz, my mentor, and you know, a few other people that I'm very open and transparent with. Everyone else, I am very selective. Not because they can't be trusted, but that's just because it's not our relationship. And also, when I tell people something that's going on or that I'm excited about or that I'm planning to do or whatever that's very vulnerable, I am opening myself up to their opinion. And a lot of times we really don't need other people's opinions. We get lost when we get too many people's opinions. You know, there's been major moves in my life. When I was like gonna move to Spain, I withheld that information from certain people because I knew they would try to talk me out of it. And I knew that that's what I needed to do for myself. So I just kept on that path. And then when I was ready, you know, close to time to go, and there's nothing that was going to deter me, then I share that information. And that's not about lying or secrecy. That's just about me protecting things that are dear to me so that I don't get outside influence from people who may not understand what I'm doing or why I'm doing it or why I believe it's the best thing for me. Now, at the same time, you know, I talk on here all the time about how whatever it is that I'm withholding from my best friend or my mentor or someone else, if I'm purposely withholding something, it's not because I'm really withholding it from them. It's because I don't want to be held accountable and I don't want to see it for myself. And that almost got me unalived. The only time I have ever lied to my friend Liz or my mentor was when I was in that abusive relationship. And so if there are people that you are totally transparent with, that you open up, you know, you tell everything to, and there's something you don't want to tell them, and you know the reason is because they're going to call you on it, that's exactly why you need to tell them. It's not even really about them. It's about you being honest with yourself. But when it comes to secrets and hopes and dreams and stuff like that, especially as a creative, you know, I'm a writing coach and all that stuff. And I always tell, whenever I work with people and they sell a pitch and that is about to, you know, get published, they want to like scream from the rooftops, oh my God, I sold a pitch to like this major magazine. And I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. Do not tell anybody until that thing is live. because anything can happen. For the same reason that people tell you not to tell everyone that you're pregnant until you're past a certain date. Because if something happens, then it's like, oh my God, now I got to tell everybody. You know what I mean? And I also think it's messed up that women are not allowed to talk about miscarriages. I wish more women didn't feel like they couldn't share that, whatever. But so sometimes keeping things secret, it's for like messed up societal ways. But a lot of times it really is because you do not want to hear, you don't want to talk about it with everybody. There's very few people who knew that I had written a book proposal that didn't sell. And I'm so glad that I did not, this was years ago. I'm so glad I wasn't talking about it on Facebook and all these other ones being like, almost done with my book proposal, almost done with my, because you know what? It didn't sell. So that is something I grieve with myself and with my inner circle. But even good news, y'all, keep that good news to yourself for this reason right here. This came out in the New York Times recently, and I've seen another one, I think, in The Guardian recently about the quiet thrill of keeping a secret. New research suggests that keeping good news to yourself can be energizing. In the study, they interviewed people who had good news who told people versus people who had kept it a secret for a while. And the ones who had kept it a secret felt much more energized by that good news when they reflected on it. They felt better about it than those who had already shared it. Again, they do, before we get into any more of that, they're also like, hey, when you keep like negative things a secret or keep things a secret out of fear of like consequences of sharing them, that can actually be very unhealthy. I've kind of already covered that. So we're not saying like keep secrets, because that's literally what fuels addiction and abuse and all kinds of things. So please do not misunderstand what I'm saying here. I'm talking about good news. There's a reason not to share everything on social media and with everybody. Take a beat, pause, be very intentional about who you share things with. Not only because all the insecure people and the haters out there may try to like spoil your joy or talk you out of something or whatever, because it's really empowering to have something just for yourself. So back to the negative secrets, when you keep negative secrets, like negative, I mean, you know, whatever, things that make you feel bad, when you keep those a secret, those tend to deplete us, weigh on us more, they zap our energy, and they're also linked to anxiety and relationship problems. Boy, have I had to learn that the hard way. Whenever I am like afraid to talk to my husband about something, I pay the price. He does too, but I pay the price. And then I have that conversation and it actually is really easy and I feel so much lighter. So now I'm like really good at it. But in the beginning, when I was still learning how to do this, I absolutely agreed with this. It is so heavy to not say something that you just need to say. But positive secrets, on the other hand, do not have this effect. It's the opposite. People who kept positive secrets were keeping it for internal reasons, not because they felt any kind of outside pressure. Feel more in control of your positive secret. You know, even that like, I can't wait to tell people, but having the discipline to not tell people. The point of this research in this article was not to inspire people to withhold positive news indefinitely, but rather to savor it. Because another thing that is great is when you share something with someone, it feels so good. It's about when and how and the motivation. And for me, you know, I enjoy so many things more when I just let them enjoy them just for myself, right? Before I go blast it out on the internet. I will say this too when it comes to like doing good deeds. Every time I do things that I feel are contributing, that are, you know, helping, or donations or like helping someone out, I enjoy them so much more when nobody knows. As soon as I try to get credit for that or get applause for that, it ruins it. And so even in terms of like helping other people, I try to do that on my own terms for myself and not for some sort of recognition, because that actually ruins it every time. And, you know, white people, this is something we need to work on. And that's why a lot of people don't trust us, because everything we do seems very performative. Just saying, something I learned. When we're keeping good news, maybe you sold a book. Maybe you just got an agent. Maybe you're working on a book. Maybe you met someone. Something about having that just for yourself for a little while, taking time to have that secret for just you or just you and your really close circle, it's so much more special. I believe that's an act of self-love. Because as me, I assume that everything I do has to be for someone else. Codependency. So learning how to have the restraint to keep some things just for me is really hard, but it's so important. Not everything is for everyone. Sometimes it's just for you.